One thing I noticed when I was on a super low income, I mean earning less than $10,000 a year, is that most of the other budgeting methods like 50, 30, 20, zero-based budgeting, all of those methods just never clicked for me. Aside from the fact that I hated budgeting, I felt like a lot of them were not realistic for someone who was on a low income. So I ended up creating a budgeting method that actually worked for me. And I'm going to walk you through this budgeting method. This budgeting method that I'm about to share with you today helped me save my first $5,000 while I was earning less than $10,000 a year. Before we get into the video, my name is Diamond. My goal is to help other people achieve the goals that I myself am achieving in my life when it comes to my personal growth and my personal finances. If you're into that kind of content, keep watching, and I hope that you will subscribe and like this video if it adds value for you. The method I want to walk you through is called 10 10 10 70. I like to say I invented this method, but it was inspired. Okay, so what exactly is 10 10 10 70? 10 10 10 70 simply means that whatever money you earn, whether it's a salary, whether it's a cash gift, whatever it is, 10% of that money goes to your savings, 10% goes to investment, 10% goes to an emergency fund, and the other 70% is money that you get to live off of. If you're paying your debt currently, you could say 10% goes to debt payoff, 10% goes to savings, 10% goes to an emergency fund, and 70%, that's what you get to pretty much live your life off, pay your bills, do other things. And it's so effective because if you are learning how to manage your money, or if you are on a low income, there are a couple mistakes that we make when it comes to money and savings and all of that good stuff. The first mistake is thinking that we need to start with so much, we need to save so much, we need to invest so much. This could not be further from the truth. That is not reality. If you're on a low budget or just getting into managing money, it's about consistency over intensity. The ability to continue to build that savings, build that emergency fund, keep paying off debt in a way that really matches where you're at financially. So many people would think, oh, I need to save like so much, 50%, and save all this money for me to like be good at savings. That's not true. Starting with just 10% is an awesome place to start and will allow you to consistently save, invest, pay off debt, emergency fund, whatever over time. The second mistake a lot of people make is that they start by taking a huge chunk of their income, even though they are on a low income. They're taking like 50% and saying, okay, you know what? I want to get smart at savings. I'm going to put 50% into my savings and I'm going to leave on 50%. But this is not realistic, because if you're on a low income, the amount of money that you're earning is not even enough to really help you pay your bills and also like just live life. Okay, so you doing that already sets you up to go back and dip your fingers into the money that you have saved. Instead of doing this, you want to start in a way that allows you to save that money without having to come back and like dip your fingers into your savings or into your emergency fund. This is why 10 10 10 70 works. It allows you to start small, start simple, and start and stay consistent with your money. Now, if you're done doing this and it's still like, oh my gosh, I'm still earning so little and this money is not enough, this is where the next conversation has to come in for us, which is, how do I increase my income? That's a different conversation. I made this video. I'm going to link it here. I'm also going to put it in the description and bio, walking you through how to increase your income if you're someone who works in the corporate world. I will do another one for people who are not very corporate-y, but essentially it's walking you through what I did that worked and what other people I know, what they're doing to increase their income, because that's a conversation you need to have once you like have a budgeting method that's helping you manage and save where you're at. This is not something that you put off until you have money. People are going to be like, oh, I want to like, let me just focus right now on getting the money. When I get it, I can figure out saving, investing, all of that. I personally feel like it's a habit. I feel like if you haven't started to build that saving, investing habit, even when you start to make more money, it will still be very difficult for you to save, for you to invest, for you to like get into those good money habits. There are lots of people who are very successful, who are earning a lot of money, but when you look at their assets, you look at their bank accounts, you ask them for their investments, they don't have anything to show for it, because a lot of those people don't have those habits that they needed to build to help them manage their money better. So it's not just about making more money. However, if you have the system down and you still see that you're really struggling to just make like meet your basic needs and live life, it means that you need to start thinking of, how do I increase my income? Now I have a system that's running, I need to work to increase my income. A huge part of making 10 10 10 70 work for you is also having a system down that runs very easily. I always say this: if you really want to get smart at managing money, you need to have separate bank accounts. You need to have a savings account, a checking account, an investment account, and your emergency fund account. These are non-negotiables. Now, if you live in a country where you can access a high yield savings account, you can do so using Ally. I'm going to share the link to like my own Ally referral link that I was given. It's going to be in the description. If you have a high yield savings account, you can have an emergency fund bucket, you can have a savings bucket in there, you can also have like a sinking fund bucket and all these other things in there. This is an example of what my buckets look like in my Ally Bank account. So it just allows you to have different buckets, different like accounts for different things. So you don't have to go and open like multiple bank accounts at like Bank of America or like wherever, right? So it's, if you live in a country you don't have access to that, you might just have to go and open multiple accounts. But when I was living in a country where I didn't have access to that, I opened multiple accounts. I had a savings, emergency fund, investing account. So the money, the 10% that was supposed to go to my investing, I shipped it off to that account. The 10% that was supposed to go to my savings, I shipped it off to my savings account. The 10% that was supposed to go to my emergency fund, I will ship it off to a different account. Another thing could just be automating. If you're someone who earns a paycheck, you can automate in your account so that every single month, 10% of your salary goes to your savings account, 10% goes to your emergency fund, and 10% goes to your investment account. Inside of Ally Bank, it looks like this, where you have your distribution settings for where money goes when it enters. I do 15% to my emergency fund, 15% to investing, and then I kind of spread out the remaining money across different sinking fund buckets that I have. This I can do now because I'm earning a lot more than I was earning before. You can continue to tweak as you keep increasing your income. But for where you are right now, which is where I was a couple years ago, 10 10 10 70 does wonders. This is essentially the breakdown for how you can budget even if you're on a low income, how to budget even if you hate budgeting. So yeah, I hope that this video has been helpful for you. If you haven't yet, please like this video if you gain some value, and hit subscribe. You will love it here. We talk personal development, personal finance, all that jazz. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.